routine gym class, just another day of running laps and waiting for the bell. The gym was massive, with 2 floors, the lower level for basketball and the upper track where students could run laps. I had just finished a lap when the announcement came over the intercom. This is a lockdown. This is not a drill. At first, we thought it was a mistake. Our coach looked confused, glancing at the other teachers before finally yelling, "Everyone into the locker rooms, now!" We sprinted toward the locker rooms, a wave of students shoving and tripping over each other in a rush to get inside. I barely made it into the boys' locker room before the gym doors slammed shut behind us. The lights were turned off. The air was thick with sweat and panic. Then we heard the gym doors rattle. Someone was outside, trying to get in. Like something or someone had slammed against the door. Someone next to me gasped. Another bang, then another. Something was definitely outside. A kid named Ryan whispered, "Do you think it's the police?" No one answered. The banging suddenly stopped, followed by footsteps, slow, measured steps, pacing outside the gym doors. Then, without warning, the fire exit door to the gym let out a long, high-pitched creak, as if someone had just stepped inside. We all held our breath. The sound of footsteps moved closer. Someone was in the gym with us now. Minutes passed. Then, the most terrifying sound of all. The door handle to our locker room jiggled. Whoever was out there had found us. It felt like time had frozen. No one moved. No one breathed. Then, finally, after what felt like an eternity, the footsteps faded and the fire exit creaked open again. An hour later, the police arrived. They never found the person, but they did find something else, a bloody handprint smeared on the gym door, right where we had been hiding. The next day, the school was shut down for an investigation. Security footage showed a man entering the school from the back parking lot. But here's the scariest part. The cameras never showed him leaving. That night, the police made another chilling discovery. In a small storage closet near the locker rooms, they found something disturbing, a neatly folded pile of clothes. The same dark hoodie, gloves, and heavy boots the intruder had been wearing. But that wasn't the worst part. When the school checked attendance records, they realized something unsettling. Every single student had been accounted for. No one was missing. No one had left the building unaccounted for, which meant whoever had broken in had never left. Or worse, he had been one of us all along. It was just before the end of lunch when I found myself alone in the school bathroom. I was sitting in one of the stalls when the sudden blare of the intercom made me freeze. This is a lockdown. This is not a drill. My heart pounded. A real lockdown, and I was trapped. Outside, hurried footsteps echoed as students rushed to their classrooms. Then silence. I was alone, or so I thought. A whisper came from the stall next to mine. "Are you hiding too?" A cold chill ran down my spine. I had walked into this bathroom alone. No one else had been here. I lifted my feet onto the toilet seat, pressing myself into the corner, willing myself to disappear. Then, another whisper. "It's okay. I'm hiding too." The voice was too close, too near. I swallowed hard and risked a glance beneath the divider. No feet. The stall was empty. Then, from above, directly above me, a slow, ragged breath. My body locked up. The air turned thick and suffocating. My mind screamed at me not to look up, but I did. Above my stall, just beyond the edge of my vision, fingers curled over the top of the divider. Slowly, ever so slowly, a head began to lean forward. Before I could scream, the toilet in the next stall flushed. The fingers vanished. The bathroom door creaked open. Footsteps. Then silence. I sat there, frozen, for what felt like hours. Eventually, the lockdown ended. The police arrived, and I stumbled out of the stall, shaking. I told them someone had been in there with me. They checked the security footage. They told me no one had entered or left the bathroom since I had gone in. That's when I saw it, the writing on the stall wall, old and faded, scratched deep into the paint. Stay quiet. He's still here. I had just started working at my old high school as a computer technician. My office was in the basement, a cluttered but oddly cozy space with air conditioning, a flat-screen TV, and 3 large desks. It felt like a private retreat. That day, I was eating lunch alone when I got a call from the front office. "We're in lockdown. Stay put." I turned off the lights, heart pounding. The basement didn't have a proper door, just an open entryway. Worse, the door leading downstairs didn't lock. If someone came in, there was nowhere to hide. Minutes passed. The basement door creaked open. My breath hitched. Footsteps descended the stairs, slow, deliberate. Someone was coming. I slid under my desk, barely daring to breathe. A shadow passed over me. Then my phone vibrated. The person in the room stopped moving. I clenched my teeth, praying they hadn't heard. But then the footsteps turned. They came toward me. My skin crawled as I felt a presence looming inches from where I hid. A voice whispered, "Hey, it's okay. I'm just hiding too." My blood ran cold. The voice was too close, too intimate. Slowly, I turned my head, and there he was. The man in the red plaid shirt and baseball cap was crouched right next to me, mirroring my exact posture. Knees tucked, arms wrapped around his legs, his face inches from mine. His wide eyes gleamed in the dim light, and his lips curled into a small, unsettling smile. "Do you know if there's an exit down here?" he whispered. I didn't respond. My phone was still open to the text I had just received from my coworker upstairs. It read, "Some guy with a gunshot, Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and a hat. Whatever you do, don't come up." My breath caught. The man next to me tilted his head. Something wrong? Heart pounding. I did the only thing I could think of. I bolted for the stairs. A gunshot rang out, the sound deafening in the small basement. I felt the heat of the bullet as it ricocheted off a metal server rack. I didn't stop. I ran up the stairs, bursting through the doors, straight into the arms of a police officer. The man tried to escape through the basement exit, but they caught him. Later, I found out Mr. Buckley survived. But the real horror, they never figured out how the shooter got in. There was no forced entry, no security footage of him arriving, but there was footage of him leaving. From inside the school. It was a typical Friday afternoon, the last period before spring break. My calculus teacher, known for his laid-back attitude, had decided to scrap the lesson and play a brand logo quiz on Sporkle. The classroom was filled with laughter and chatter as students shouted out answers. I remember the exact moment everything changed. Right after my friend called out, "Adidas!" The school intercom crackled to life. The dean's voice came through, frantic and panicked. "Attention, this is not a drill. Lockdown, now." The room fell into dead silence. My teacher's face drained of color as he rushed to the door, locked it, and turned off the lights. "Get to the back of the room," he whispered, his voice shaky. We obeyed without question, pressing ourselves against the cold wall, our breathing shallow. Then, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed down the hallway, followed by a scream so loud and primal it sent shivers down my spine. Someone, a man, was shouting, his voice slurred and enraged. "I'll kill all of you." The sound of lockers being slammed and kicked reverberated through the hall. 2 girls in the class started crying softly, and my own heartbeat pounded in my ears. The man's footsteps grew closer. Then, suddenly, they stopped right outside our door. A deep silence settled in, broken only by the sound of a single, heavy breath from the other side. And then, fists slammed against the classroom door with such force that the wood shook. Someone whimpered. The handle jiggled violently. Then, one of the crying girls let out a muffled scream. "Open up!" The man roared. The door held, but it felt like time had slowed. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Eventually, the banging stopped. The footsteps receded. We stayed frozen long after the last echoes faded. When the all-clear was finally given, the dean's voice came back, this time weary and shaken. He explained that an unidentified man had forced his way into the school and attacked a front office worker before disappearing. He was never found. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing the banging, the screaming, and then I got a text from a friend whose dad worked in law enforcement. They never caught him, but they found his backpack in the school basement. Inside, a knife, a mask, and a list of names.